to you shit on people for having a different idea. There's so many people that probably have blocked me in the past because I said I didn't like The Last of Us, or I said I didn't like The Last of Us TV show. And I think that little girl, well, she's not a little girl. She's actually like, I think she's 20, but she looks weird as hell. It's not about her looking at Ellie, and then people going to contort that into some weird ass shit saying that I like. It's about her aesthetics in that show. Since I'm speaking about a grown ass woman, I think she looked weird as a human. Yep, as a human. I didn't say she was ugly or cute. I just think she's a weird looking person. But people will sit there and say that, oh, how dare you? How dare you? And they'll say shit like that. I don't care. There's one thing I've learned over time is, especially when it comes to Hogwarts, right? That's when brand loyalty really is great. You know what I'm saying? When they had Hogwarts and they wanted to have everybody boycott that shit, and it literally did the opposite. That was great. I love that shit. Now, I'm not mad, like I said before. I'm just explaining to you PlayStation fans and how they operate, and they move like a wave. They move like a hive mind, and I don't like that. This is not an Xbox-centric website either, but I don't like fanboyism in general. I hate it. I'm going to continue to read what I was saying before. In certain cases, companies will also cherry pick the types of people they want to purchase their brands and reject the others. That's what Sony was doing. You are a bigot if you do everything else but like my product. Sorry, I'm hoping that shit fails. Like anything that they do that's like that, I hope it fails hardcore, right? The downside here is the sameness that results. Brand tribalism creates a monochromatic group of consumers who look, act, and think the same. That is exactly what the hell is going on with the PlayStation community in particular. You know what I mean? All the PlayStation community, and that's good for business for sure. I think all them hardcore people were picking up the PlayStation VR too. If I ever pick up that, it's because I actually like it. You know what I'm saying? It's something I was curious on. Or if I ever pick up the controller, it's something I was curious on, which I am thinking about picking up both, but not because of everybody else. The PlayStation VR 2 needs to be more than just sitting on this chair and looking around. I want to have a complete, real flat screen experience where I can look around versus whatever they're doing now. Gran Turismo would be the reason why I would pick that up. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like when Gran Turismo, to be honest with you, came out and they were like, they came out with the game, it reviewed well, and then some idiot came out on you know, these review sites, right? And these influencers came out and said that they were predatory in the microtransactions. That's one of the things that they said, which was like, which to me was wild as hell to say some shit like that, right? How dare you have microtransactions? And it's like, and everybody was like, you know, they clutched their pearls, as in like they were so offended by this, which was weird to me. They were so offended that there were microtransactions, and they were like, why do I have to play the game to earn shit? And it needs a little bit of effort. How dare you make me do this? And I'm like, newsflash, probably because you didn't have a PS3 or you didn't game, you was a young buck. The Gran Turismo franchises was always like that since PlayStation 2. Actually, that's when it really became very grindy. It's just now, because people are impatient, they're going to monetize on it. You're damn right. I would too. At capitalism at its finest. I would too. If you can get money some sort of way, and then people like that shit, then that's what it's going to be. You don't have to buy it. No one held a gun to your head to do it. Nobody. But I'm going to lay off the PlayStation community and talk about tribalism for Nintendo first before I go on to the Xbox. And like I said before, before I even move on, there was a lot of gatekeeping when it came to PlayStation. It was seriously gatekeeping on the PlayStation side for sure. Like people were like, you can't put it on PC. I lost my train of thought. This is what I wanted to kind of bring up. There was some hardcore gatekeeping on the PlayStation. saying that it can't be on PC. I'm going to sell my PlayStation 5. What is the point of having a PlayStation 5? You're going to put it on PC. The same point it was when you first bought the PlayStation 5. It's designed for you to play games and have it optimized in a curated experience so you don't have to spend $1,500 and play around with settings. That's its purpose. Is it going to be the PC? Nope. Nope. You get close to looking like a PC type game. Don't misconstrue that as being better. It's just on a hardware that is curated, and that's what it is. I never really had a problem after I really kind of reviewed everything. I never really had a problem with the games, PlayStation games, going to PC for a couple of reasons. One, if Sony does some fuck shit for their games and IPs, it will be on PC and it's an open platform, and I don't need to worry about their consoles or whatever the hell that they're going to do, such as the move from PlayStation 3 to 4. It's not backwards compatible. If they did this shit before, I would be able to play my Motor Storms and everything else on my PC if they've done this earlier instead of changing the architecture. So I'm not really that concerned too much either. So long as, and in these games, I used to want to program in the past. And what I started to see is that because humans are always trying to make things easier for themselves, that's what we do. So a lot of these PCs have like built-in hardware, so you don't have to create a program from scratch. And if that's the case, you're not ever going to work to the metals, what they call it, on any kind of chip setup. You're going to have a layer of stuff where it basically the code will translate what you want it to the transistors. So essentially, everything is going to become an open PC or a locked PC, which are basically consoles. So I never had a problem with it, but the gatekeeping that they had on there, threatening to sell your whole console, that's some weak ass shit. You can't be like 35 to 40 on some dumbass shit, screaming and shit about wasting their time. To me, that sounds real ridiculous. But continuing on with brand loyalty, onto Nintendo. So, or the tribalism portion of it is they can't see past. I get that there's opinions. I totally get it, right? I'm going to make a statement, and I feel like it's justifiable, this statement, because of what I know, right? And what everybody should know. I've been gaming for a very long time, being 38 years old. I've been gaming for a while, and so I do want to say this, right? Back in 2005, because I'm used to innovation in the gaming space. Back in 2005, when the game called Shadow of the Colossus was released, that was something that blew my mind open. I could not believe what I was experiencing on the PlayStation 2, but in general. I've never seen anything like that and haven't yet to this day. The storytelling that's in this game, without being too wordy, without being pretentious and trying to, we have a world, we have our own dictionary and vocabulary. They just made a game, and it was so laser focused that they took things out that could be deemed as fluff. There was no fluff. There was 16 bosses, and you had to travel there, and that was the end of it. And they had a good story, and they had a lot of things that a lot of developers actually leaned into. Miyazaki being one of them, with that cryptic storytelling that they had in there, where they don't spell things. Of course, he took it to a new level, whether it's good or bad, however way you want to look at it. But yeah, he took that to a new level. That's how he did things. All right, cool, fine, whatever, right? There was that. And then there was The Last of Us that also took from Ico, which was the predecessor to Shadow of the Colossus. And then there's a lot of games that tried to do the whole dragon giant thing. You climbed up on the things, but nobody did it like them because it was interactive, not no QTE or anything of that nature. But more importantly, there's a lot of people that will sit there and say that Zelda Breath of the Wild is the most innovative game they've ever played. And I get that their little physics system is pretty decent. But is it decent to where the whole experience was so unique? Imagine playing Shadow of the Colossus in 2005. There was nothing like that. See, with Breath of the Wild, we have like early access games on PC that were survival based. One that comes to mind is 7 Days to Die. That was one of those things that were very close to survival, eating and having to control your weather, put clothes on, and all of this shit. And then they have like their chemistry system where it's interactive and all this stuff. So I've played things like that, but more importantly, this grip meter that everybody was talking about. You can climb on anything. Well, you're not a gecko, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? When it rains, you slip off, whatever. I get it. I get the lore. I feel it. But the grip meter where you climb and you get weaker, that was in Shadow of the Colossus in 2005. And to be honest with you, that was also in Metal Gear Solid. You know what I mean? So it was just like to the new people that were like, and when they first played the game, they're 25 years old, around 24 to 30 years old, that didn't really touch these games on the PlayStation 2, or 1 for the matter. Those situations, it was like it was brand new to them, because I guess they never played it. And that's why I wasn't really impressed. When they were talking about, what was that game? When they were talking about, what game was it? Oh, The Last of Us Part 2. And they were like, oh, there's dogs, and they can sniff you out. I don't know if you know this, but that was in Metal Gear Solid 3. They had the dogs. They had all that shit. They had the stuff. The king of stealth was Metal Gear Solid, and specifically Metal Gear Solid 3. Like, awesome shit. That's why I'm not really hard pressed. But you know what? When it comes to brand loyalty, even if you played these games in the past, you're so loyal to the cause that you can't break free from that prison that you created for yourself. This nostalgia prison. When you first got your console, or whatever the case is, and you just like, oh, Nintendo is just so great, or whatever. Because I'm speaking about Nintendo at this point in time. I'm laying off the fucking gas when it comes to the pressure of PlayStation, and I just went in on them. But like, you had situations like that, and that's new to them, which is crazy to me. Or not new, but they downplay it and say, well, it's different in Breath of the Wild. It's not the same. It even goes as far as this, which to me makes me roll on my chair. One of the things that they do is they refuse to tell Nintendo to make another piece of hardware, because it's starting to stifle their game. All their games. We're not just talking about frame rate and looks. There's some things when you have more powerful hardware, it gives you more possibilities on doing. It just is. If we never evolved our hardware from like being extreme to make a point with PlayStation 1, you would never have open world games. You will never have games that were very complex like Shadow of the Colossus, or Horizon Forbidden West, or Horizon Zero Dawn, where you had all these systems at play. If that was the case, and you don't want technology to move forward, then why are we getting new consoles?